Picture this. It's Friday, payday. You check your bank account, fully expecting to see your hard-earned cash sitting there, ready for the weekend. But your balance hasn't budged. Or, even worse, you go to pay your rent, the transfer completely bounces, and now you're hit with a massive late fee. The culprit? Literally one single missing or incorrect digit in your routing number. It's a surprisingly common, yet totally avoidable nightmare. Okay, let's dive into this and make absolutely sure that never happens to you. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're going to master everything you need to know about finding your BMO routing number online.
So, here's our game plan for today. We'll start with the routing problem. Clearly define what a routing code actually is, and then jump into a super easy step-by-step guide to finding yours online. We'll also cover the old-school paper check method, look at a few regional differences you really need to know, and then wrap it all up.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, the routing number problem. If you've ever had a transfer rejected, you know exactly that sinking feeling it brings. The thing is, financial systems are incredibly rigid. When you set up a transfer, computers are the ones doing the heavy lifting, right? And they just don't have the intuition to know that you meant a different number. A single incorrect digit doesn't just delay your money, it can send your funds into complete digital limbo, derail your personal finances, and cause some serious stress. Getting the exact number right the very first time is absolutely paramount.
You'll actually be asked for this obscure code in a ton of high-stakes mandatory situations. Starting a new job and want direct deposit? Your employer needs it. Automating your gym membership, your utility bills, or paying your mortgage? Yep, you need it. Doing a domestic ACH transfer or wiring money internationally? This code is completely non-negotiable. Whether money is flowing into your account or flowing out, this number is basically the ultimate gatekeeper.
That brings us right to Section 2. What is a routing number? Let's build our foundations.
So, the crucial point is that a routing number is simply a unique banking code designed to identify a specific financial institution and a specific branch. It was created to ensure that funds moving through this vast, incredibly complex financial network safely reach their correct destination. Without it, honestly, the financial system just wouldn't know where to send your money.
A really great way to visualize this is to think about the postal system. Your routing number, that's like the street address of your bank. It gets the delivery truck to the correct physical building. Your account number, on the other hand, is your specific mailbox inside that building. You have to have both to get your mail, right? If you only provide the account number, the system literally has no idea which bank building on Earth holds that mailbox.
And this brilliantly illustrates why geography matters so much when we're talking about BMO. Because BMO operates extensively in both the US and Canada, they actually utilize two entirely different systems. Down in the United States, you're looking for a 9-digit ABA routing transit number. But up in Canada, the system uses two separate codes that work together, a 5-digit transit number that identifies your specific branch and a static 3-digit institution number that identifies the bank itself.
Okay, now that we know exactly what we're looking for, let's move to Section 3. Finding your number online. This is for sure the fastest and most reliable way to get your details. If you're sitting at a desktop computer, the process is incredibly straightforward. First, just log into your BMO digital banking portal. Once you're on the main dashboard, navigate up to the top menu and click on My Accounts. From there, select the specific checking or savings account you actually need the numbers for. At the top of your account details page, you should see a summary box. But hey, the real pro tip here is to click the link that says Void Check. This will instantly generate a digital PDF of a voided check containing your exact routing and account numbers, fully pre-verified and ready to be downloaded or emailed right to your employer. Now, if you're out and about on the go, the BMO mobile app workflow is just as easy. Simply sign into the app on your phone, tap on the checking or savings account you want to use. Then look for account details, or, depending on your app version, it might actually say direct deposit info right under the Manage tab. Tap that and select View Void Check. Just like on the desktop, you'll see a crystal clear image of a voided check that you can easily share or just reference later.
Now, if you happen to be a personal banking customer with a standard BMO checking or savings account in the United States, the primary routing number you'll probably see pop up time and time again is 0710-25661. Fun fact, this 9-digit code was actually inherited from Harris Bank, which BMO acquired years ago, and traces its roots all the way back to Chicago in 1882. Pretty cool, right? It's the standard code for domestic direct deposits and regular transfers for most BMO US accounts.
Conversely, if you are banking with BMO in Canada, you will literally always see the institution number 001.
That three-digit code is an absolute constant. It permanently identifies the Bank of Montreal within the entire Canadian financial network. You'll just pair that 001 with a unique 5-digit transit number specific to your local branch, and boom, that creates your full routing sequence.
But what if you're suddenly locked out of online banking? Or maybe you just prefer doing things the old school way? Well, that brings us to Section 4, the paper check alternative.
If you have a physical U.S. checkbook handy, your routing number is printed right there on the paper in that kind of funny magnetic ink computer font along the bottom. The standard layout for a U.S. check means you just look at the bottom left corner. The very first 9 digits you see in that row, that's your routing number. The numbers following it in the middle are your specific account number, and that short number way over at the far right is just the sequence number of that specific check.
Canadian checks look slightly different, but the core principle is exactly the same. Look at the bottom row of numbers. You're first going to encounter the check sequence number, followed by the 5-digit transit number, which, remember, identifies your branch. And then you'll see the 3-digit institution number, which for BMO will always be 001. After that comes your personal account number. Just copy the transit and institution codes directly off the paper and you're good to go.
So we've covered the basics, but the financial world absolutely loves its exceptions. Let's move to Section 5, Geography and Account Differences. This is the troubleshooting segment where a lot of people accidentally get tripped up. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is a very specific quirk with BMO Canada. BMO internally refers to its branches using a 4-digit code. However, the external clearing network requires a 5-digit transit number. So, how do they bridge that gap? Well, they add a regional identifier as the 5th digit. For example, if a branch is located in Ontario, the system adds a 2 to the very end. So an internal branch code of 2326 becomes an external transit code of 2326 too. If a transfer keeps getting rejected in Canada, it's highly likely you're accidentally using that 4-digit internal code instead of the proper 5-digit transit number.
And hey, there are exceptions in the US too. If you opened an account with BMO Alto, that's their high-yield, digital-only division, you actually cannot use the standard BMO routing number we discussed earlier. BMO Alto operates on its own separate clearing network and requires a totally distinct routing number, which is 075906061. Furthermore, if you're receiving an international wire transfer to a US BMO account, the sending bank might even require a legacy corporate routing number like 07100-288 to properly route the money through BMO's centralized treasury in Chicago. Always confirm these details with your portal.
It's also super important to note the type of transfer you're actually doing. For standard domestic payments like direct deposits or paying a bill in the US, you're using the ACH network. But if you need to send money urgently or send it internationally, you're using a wire transfer. Wire transfers move funds directly between banks and are way faster, but they often carry higher fees and, crucially, may require entirely different routing details, including a SWIFT or BIC code, which is basically an international identifier. So always match your routing number to the exact transfer type you're executing.
Wow, we've covered a lot of ground today. Let's wrap things up in Section 6 with our summary and verification.
Let's quickly recap the critical takeaways here. Remember that your routing number is the bank's address, while your account number is your specific mailbox. The U.S. relies on a 9-digit ABA system, while Canada uses a combined 8-digit system featuring a transit and an institution code. The absolute easiest and most accurate way to find yours is by logging into BMO's digital banking or mobile app and just generating a void check. If that fails, look at the bottom left of a physical paper check. And finally, always be mindful of those sneaky regional differences, like the 5-digit Canadian transit rule or distinct account types like BMO Alto.
And of course, a quick but important disclaimer. While the information in this explainer is accurate based on current systems, financial institutions can and do update their routing details. To protect yourself and your money, you should always verify your routing details directly through official BMO resources, their online banking portals, or by just calling their customer service line before initiating any major transaction.
Knowing how the plumbing of the financial system actually works gives you incredible peace of mind. It ensures your hard-earned money goes exactly where it's supposed to, exactly when it's supposed to. So let me leave you with this one thought. Have you logged in and verified your unique routing number before setting up your next big financial transfer? Seriously, don't leave it to chance. Take a few seconds, follow the steps we outlined today, and take complete control of your finances. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and happy banking.